Hey crafters, Dan Scotty here, good to have you with me. Today I want to talk about doing different types of tiles. Most of my tiles have centered on medieval or fantasy themes, and I really, you can really use these techniques for any time period. I've had a lot of interest in this, but I want to show you a really useful technique for making decking. So you could use these for futuristic tiles, steampunk tiles, dark future, or government conspiracy tiles. So you got a lot of options with this technique, and it's really easy embellishment to add to the tiles. So let's go to the table and I'll show you how I do that. So I've cut a few regular tiles, and you see I've got them marked, and I'll explain what this means in a minute. But the main material we're going to use for this, besides our normal things, are this screen mesh. Okay, this is just a fiberglass screen mesh, and I got 5 feet of this at the hardware store. This is a black, and it's 3 feet wide, and it cost me $5 to get this. So this is a lot of mesh to make a lot of tiles with. Okay, so now the trick is, what we're going to do is we want to make metal plating on these tiles. And the mesh can really help with that. It can give a really good look to that. So what I'm going to do with the mesh is I'm going to roll it over the tiles, and then I'm going to roughly cut it to the shape of the tile, and then we'll proceed from there. But remember that you could do it over the tile, but it can be hard to trim right up to the edge. So I do recommend that you cut it the size of the tile. And it's pretty easy. You can just put this under the mesh and just cut it with your scissors. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back for the next step. Now you can see I've got my mesh approximately cut. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's close enough. That's good. And then I have my hallway here. Okay. So now you'll notice the mesh tends to buckle a little bit. And what I like to do is secure it down to the surface. And what you can do with that is you can just use some white glue. And I'm going to get it where I want it on the tile. And then just start adding some white glue to it. This is a nice technique. You might say, well, I go to all this trouble, but this is a nice technique. It keeps the screen from buckling. And so then just kind of smear the glue into the screen. And believe me, when this dries, you won't even see this glue. The glue will totally disappear. But it'll keep this screen very secured down to the tile itself. All right. When you start doing the hot glue and stuff, it can buckle the screen, and then you're done because you can't it's already, you glued the walls down. So this way, you've got the screen all flat against the tile right before you start. So it's another step, but it'll save you a lot of heartache in the end. So now I'm going to do the hallway tile, and then after we would do that, okay, I would glue the walls down like normal. So I'll take my wall strip and then glue it down. Leave room space for your doors and everything. Now another step I do is I use cardstock, okay, and this is 1/4 inch cut, and I'm going to put it on these lines that I've got going on the tile itself. So I'll put one there and then one there, and you'll see how that works out when I when I show you the tile itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out the completed tile and show you what it looks like. So here we go. Here's our completed tile, and you can see how nice that looks. Okay, so got a few stringies on there. So I put the walls on like I would with the normal tile. After I got the mesh dried, I put the walls on like I normally would. Then I added this cardstock to where I had the lines. I also added little bits of cardstock on the edge where the lines met the wall. And this not only helps hold the mesh down, which it's already pretty well held down, but it gives it that decking look. Look, it looks like a deck, metal deck. So now let me grab this other tile here, and you can see it's a hallway, and I did the exact same thing. I just had the cardstock at certain intervals. I did them 3-inch intervals, and I think that's really nice. Now with this kind of technique, you could take it further before you start painting. You could add some, if you wanted it to be like an old place or something, you could add some glue gun stuff, goo to it to give it some corrosion, or alien slime, or whatever you want to add to it. So I'm just going to kind of do the standard decking tile, and then you can go crazy from there. You can really modify it from there. So I will go ahead and paint these flat black, and we'll come back and paint these. So here's my tile painted black, and to paint the decking, I'm just going to use a gunmetal paint, acrylic craft paint, and a wide brush, and I'll just get it on there and just start painting it up. And this will really pick up that green mesh on the tile itself. So I'll finish painting this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Like any good Scotty paint job, we can't just leave it at one color. I'm going to use a silver for the highlights. So I'm not going to pick up quite as much silver. I'm just going to use the same brush, and I'll just kind of get the edging. You could also do the shadows on this. These tiles are pretty dark, so you wouldn't necessarily have to. Also get a little bit on the tile itself. So there we go. A nice metal decking tile that you can use for your games. So let me finish the hallway, and I'll come back and show you what they look like next to miniatures. So here are the future decking tiles set up, and they look really, really nice. Let me put a couple miniatures down here for size comparison. So we got got some troopers going through the decking here, the tiles. Yeah, this is just the scratch. This method just scratched the surface. You could do all kinds of stuff with this decking method. Like I said before, you could have it. I did them kind of dark and dingy, but you could do them more silvery, so make a more modern facility. Or you could do different colored effects, like there are lights in the halls, pools of light, like put yellow in the halls. You could do yellow lines on the edging here, or the lines that break up the decking. You could do yellow lines. You could do, I didn't do a door, of course you could do metal doors, faux metal doors. If you want to do a steampunky theme, you could do this like a bronze or a brass. And that would really give it that kind of steampunk look. You could also do the sponge technique on this. So you could put paint on your sponge and dab it to do certain areas if it was like you want to have blood or slime or alien goo or whatever you want to have. So yeah, so these tiles can be used for any kind of like futuristic setting, or anything, or modern setting, or anything like that. Where you would need some kind of decking. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, before I go, I want to give a shout out to my sis. She's not a gamer, but she just discovered that she said I'm famous on YouTube, and she didn't know about it. But I didn't think she'd be so interested in these videos because she isn't a gamer. I'm working on her, but she's not a gamer yet. And I just wanted to say I love you, sis, and thanks for the support, and keep watching. Hey crafters, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the DM's Craft. Make sure to subscribe, and I have tons of other videos, as you can see. I am the originator of the 2.5D method of crafting tiles. I also do dirt cheap terrain for the table. If all this intrigues you, make sure you check out all the videos below. Also, join my forum. We have lots of great crafters on there who give advice. I have a link above and below. And last but not least, remember, go forth and craft!